Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. This is part 8 in the raw renovation, and in today's video we're going to be installing the condense soakaway for the boiler and lagging all the pipework. Okay, so we're outside now and this is where the condense is currently terminating out of the wall where the boiler is. So we're going to be fitting a condense soakaway today. So what we've done already is we've dug a hole. It's about 450 deep. So what I need to do is line the bottom of that hole with limestone chippings, get the condense soakaway in, and then surround it with limestone chippings. Put the limestone chippings inside the condense soakaway. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this pipe, actually elbow it straight down so you won't actually see the pipe running horizontal across, and run it into the side entry point of the condense soakaway. So I would say that's the best way to do it. Now the manufacturer's instructions say they want it 500mm away from the external wall, which this just about is. So from the centre of the condense trap, that's got to be 500mm. And yeah, let's get some limestone chippings in the bottom there. So now we've got the hole filled up approximately 50mm from the bottom. I now need to put limestone chippings inside the condense soakaway. So on these soakaways you have a side entry and you also have an entry at the top, which is provided with a cap. So to make the installation a lot neater, I'm going to be coming in from the side, so that means you're not going to see any pipe work travelling from the wall into the top of the soakaway. The pipes is actually going to come down here and be buried under the mud and then straight into the side, so almost be unnoticeable. So when you install these, you want to make sure that these holes are facing away from the external wall. So for example, that's our wall there, so these holes need to be facing away. You don't want it facing towards. And yeah, so what I will do is I'll fill this up now to just approximately this level here. And so what we don't want is we don't want the pipe actually touching the limestone chipping, so we'll fill it up to here and then get that in the ground. Okay, so now the soakaway's full with limestone chippings, I can put the top on. So when you buy these, it will come with this cap here. So this will allow you to pipe it up from the top, and they also give you a blanket cap to put in there. So we close it up now, as we're going to be using a side entry. And then in the McAlpine bag you get little accessories, which comes with a bung for the top. So I've got the waste pipe work all in now. As you can see, I've just cut the white waste pipe fairly close to the wall and just put a black elbow on. So I like to use black pipe work as much as I can externally. I just think it looks a lot better. So once that's all cemented up, you will never know. So as you can see, I've dropped down vertically and now I'm running along horizontally. I'm just checking it with a mini level. You still need to make sure it's falling the right way. And then as we terminate into the soakaway, I'm just above the lime chippings and about a third into it. So just try and avoid any blockages. I want to slam it up against this side. So it's still worth noting that you need to insulate this pipe. It's not going to be deep enough to prevent it from freezing. So I'm going to put some insulation on that before I backfill it. Like I say, you don't normally see them insulated when they go into the ground, but it's still worth doing. They can still freeze. So yeah, I'm going to get some insulation on and then get this all filled in. Okay, so I've got the lid on now as I'm about to backfill it, and this is what you want exposed once you finish backfilling. So you almost want your mud to just finish just below the lip of this lid here, and then in the future this can always be taken off and accessed for maintenance. So the soakaway's all in now, and as I say, it's always better to use that side entry point because you haven't got no nasty pipe running off the top of it. I know in certain situations you've got to do that, either the ground's going to be like solid concrete, but if you can, use the side entry and make it way better. So I had somebody ask me that when we were doing the oil line, did we have the coupling or the elbow that was buried under the ground visibly inspectable, and yes we did. I've just used a soil pipe, and you probably can't see that, but there it is down there. So what we did was we put a cement base down first, cemented the pipe into the ground, and then I cut 2 slots either side of the soil pipe, laced it with CT1, slid it over the pipe, and as you can see it's easily visible from above. And then I've just got this soil pipe cap which goes on, so that just pushes onto there. and I've left it proud at the moment because they're actually going to be doing works on this driveway. So for those of you that have been following the Raw Renovation series, you would have known that we had a problem trying to terminate the temperature relief and pressure relief from the unvented cylinder. So to combat that, what we've got is this high temperature relief pump. So there seems to be only one on the market at the moment, and it is rather expensive and it does look like a bit of an eyesore, but what it will do is it will take up to 100 degrees water and then it will pump it directly outside. So from the instructions you can see it's got a 10-metre head and it will do 20 litres per minute. So what I'll do is I'll just show you. So if I open up the central heating pressure relief valve, that then goes into the pump. Pump will then activate, and then it's just pumping it out of this 15mm pipe here, safe to outside. So one of the last things we now need to do in this manifold cupboard is to get the pipework all lagged. So there's two reasons why we're doing that. The first one is to try and prevent as much heat loss as possible in this room, otherwise it's going to get incredibly hot. And secondly, if the client has small children, I don't want them putting their hands on any of this low level pipework and burning themselves. So we'll get it all lagged. We're going to be using the Pipe Lagger Pro for a lot of the tight bends and the angles, so I'll show you how we're going to use that and how it can make lagging actually look pretty presentable. Right, we'll start off with a really tricky one. So we've got a T here, and an elbow there. So the first thing I need to do is cut the elbow. So cutting the elbow is the best place to start. So I'll slid the piece of lagging in. I just need to get that angle right, and that's on the very end of this tool. So I'm just squeezing the Pipe Lagger Pro, just makes it a bit easier when you're cutting it. So that is now our first cut, and what I'll do is I'll go and put this on the pipework and then I can mark the T's. So you can measure it, but it's good to get your elbow on first and then you can work backwards from there. So I've just put the elbow piece on and slid this piece of insulation over those two T's, and I'm not sure if you can see that, but I've got two lines marked. So I've got one here for the first T and one here for the second T. So what I need to do now is slide this back in. Now what you might notice is I've now got the cut line facing me, and that's the way we obviously want our T's to be. So this cut is hidden, and the next bit of pipe that slides into the bottom of the T will work correctly. So what I'm doing is I'm just lining up this T with the centre of this cut here. So we need to make two incisions, one here, one there. Like so. So that's that one cut, and you can see how neat it is. It makes it a lot easier when you're connecting two together, especially on the T piece. Slide the next one along. And that is it. We've got our two T's cut now, and we can go and put that on the pipe, and then we can cut the very end nice and straight where the clip is. Right, so when we're doing a straight cut, you can use the very end of the Pipe Lagger Pro. Now this is really close to the last T, so because there's actually a clip here, so I need to be really careful. Just going to hold that nice and tight and just run this straight down here, as careful as I can. And now that should be perfect.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go!
Just to give you an update of where we're at with the bathrooms, both of the bathrooms have now been plastered that we have first fixed, and we're just waiting for the tiler to come now, start laying the tiles on the floor and the walls, and then we can get in and start second fixing. So a couple of the bedrooms have actually been decorated, so we've hung the radiators, filled them up, and now we've got the heating running, and that new pump, that Stuart Turner, is absolutely hammering through, which is brilliant. So yeah, these rooms are all getting nice and hot now, and we're just waiting for the decorators to finish off a couple more bedrooms, and then we can start hanging those rads.